Okay, we just did the first protocol. Okay, everybody, let's come on back. And we are on segment 2, which is on page 4, about midway through page 4. And this aspect has to do with purification. Basically, the making the space for more divine energy to come in, and the divine energy is the purifying factor. Like the more spiritual energy comes in, it displaces lower energies and things are purified. So here, not a lot of choices, but there's a lot of different kinds of cedar. So cedar or myrrh? Cedar or myrrh? Okay, and let's just start by inhaling the oil. Not even directing it somewhere, just inhaling.
Cedar trio, okay.
Cedar what?
Trio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hyssop would be another good choice, but okay, you're just being still. Begin inhaling, your awareness is on the back heart. Wait a minute. Your awareness is on your back heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on your navel. an inch and a half below your navel. And then the crown. And then pause and just be still. Just be still. Okay, begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the back heart, the area between the shoulder blades. Your awareness is on your navel. An inch and a half below your navel. And then the crown. Your awareness is on your crown. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Pause and be still. You're pausing, you're just being still. Notice how you feel, your body, your emotions, your mind. Let's do it again. Begin inhaling. Awareness is on your back heart. In this process, the emphasis is the back heart. And then your awareness is on the navel. Inch and a half below your navel. And then the crown. And then just be still. Hmm? Mhm. Both. Just be still. Notice how you feel when we do this. Notice what happens to the mind. You're shifting to a more intuitive part of the mind, and it's allowing more spiritual energy to come in. And just these first two steps starts to produce divine light. Just these first two steps. What we did before lunch and what we're doing right now. So again, same oil. Your awareness is on the back heart. Your navel, your awareness is on the navel. An inch and a half below the navel. You're an inch and a half below your navel. And then the crown. Your awareness is on the crown. And then just be still. Notice how you feel your body, your emotions, your mind. Again, let's do it again. You're inhaling, your awareness is on the back heart. Your awareness is on the navel. An inch and a half below the navel. And then the crown. Your awareness is on the crown. Okay, let's let it go. Be still. So this is what I would say. When you do repetitive cycles of this one segment, the one we just did with the cedar or the myrrh, with the back heart navel, navel minor, and in the period of time following you doing that process, whatever you practice sustained awareness on is deeply purified. So if there's a pattern in your life, if there's a situation, if there's a problem, there's some obstacle in your life, after you've done this several times, the thing is now sit and just practice sustained awareness on whatever it might be. Not trying to resolve it, you're just observing it. So if it's a thing from your past, observe it. If it's a thing going on right now, observe it. If it's a problem with a particular person, observe that person or observe your guys' interactions. Whatever it is, for the next few minutes, let's just say movement will happen. Areas in your life where you wish for an improvement or you wish to move into because it's something new, whatever it might be, you're observing. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and do a little more. So you see you at 25 after. Hey, everybody, let's go ahead and come on back. So like I was saying, the first two steps are already generating light. You know, you've cultivated and stimulated the potential for observation, and then you've done this process that puts things in motion to a greater degree of action. You're consuming spiritual energy to a higher degree, which has a purifying effect. So here we want to take this step a little bit further and move the creative energies from the lower to the higher. And in the winter solstice, you could say that the light, divine light, as it's exposed to the earth, is at its lowest. And so the idea of bringing light in solstice is basically the process of, shedding darkness or ignorance, letting go of the past, learning your lesson, bringing in the light for the potential for new growth. And so it's in that phase of depletion, or in that phase of falling away, that there is the stimulation for spring or the new life to come. And so the practice that we're doing right now is a very good practice to be doing for solstice. It's why the green and red is so important for Christmas, is it stimulates the movement. It's the observation and the action. So here we're looking at engaging a bit of a transformation process. So frankincense, alemi, galbanum, palo santo, or lang lang, and I think in the kit we did alemi, didn't we?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Alemi is kind of like a cousin of frankincense. So any of the frankincenses will work. Yeah. So notice how you feel. And let's do this process. So you're inhaling, your awareness is on the sex chakra. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the sex chakra, which is where the sex organs are. Move your awareness to the navel. Your awareness is on the front heart. Awareness is on the front heart. You're taking nice, long, slow breaths. Your awareness is on the back heart. And then the throat. The awareness is on the throat. And the crown. Just be still for a moment. So when we're talking about darkness here, darkness is ignorance. Darkness could also be repetition. Like when something is of repetitive nature, like when it's just doing the same thing over and over again, you could say it lacks light. Right? As soon as light comes in, the pattern changes. Right? So in this, you're moving things from an instinctual place, which is the stomping grounds of repetition, instinct, and you're moving it all the way up to the crown, which is the entry point for divine energy, but it's also the source for spontaneity within the body. It's essence. If you do this like properly and well after a little period of time, you'll feel almost like pressure coming in the top of your head. You're generating divine intelligence. Coupled with the first two applications. So again, give yourself a moment. Just let everything go. Just be still. Observe things that you would like to bring healing to, or that these things just need to shift. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. where the 6 organs are. Your awareness is on the navel. Front heart. The throat. And the crown. And then just let go. We're going to do that again, but I thought we could share experiences of both this process and the last process, ask questions, give you a little bit of a break from the intensity, but we'll do a little Q&A and then we'll go back and we'll do another round of the thing we just did. So let's go ahead and unmute or type in.
And again, you can share from the last 2 processes.
Mm-hmm. How did you do?
But we're just starting to knock me out completely. So
That last little piece was starting to knock Samantha out. The process is simple, but it is very potent.
yeah, somebody said on the one we did before, that was a strong segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, so that process before this one,
Mhm.
it was so, I was so still,
Yeah.
still so aware, like I didn't drop the bottle or anything, but I was so still that when you even said take a break, I was like, I'm not moving. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stay
Yeah.
here. It was a very, very deep stillness. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So we've done that variation. Like when I've been in groups where we're doing like a little talk with oils or something like that. And we'll have people like, okay, if you have an issue, especially like if it's like, bad shoulder, bad back, something that's very measurable, and we'll have them just go through and do that process and not really focusing on the part of their body. They'll have a healing response, like an increase range of motion in the shoulder, the decrease of pain, but like able to bend down farther, whatever it is, they can measure it. And it's non-specific when you're doing it, but like usually, how like sometimes when maybe you have like a deep release and something negative comes out, or contamination, and it settles into all your negative spots, like it just goes, like if you have a bad shoulder, it's whatever it is, you feel it, but you feel it more in the shoulder, like all your old wounds come up. This is like the positive version of that. Like when you go through and do that, all the old wounds are like where that energy gets directed. And even if it's a new, wound or illness or whatever, it gets directed to that. So that stillness is very deeply healing, and can even be healing for external things, like if there's a relationship or a work thing happening, um, it can be very healing on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying as you're talking about it. I was thinking, yeah, it's like nothing in my body hurt,
Yeah.
nothing needed to move, nothing
Right.
needed to happen. It was lovely.
Yeah. And like say you got a bad shoulder, it might not hurt now, but it doesn't mean like in a few days or something's not going to come up. But if you do it kind of consistently,
Mhm.
you'll notice that that area gets better. But if it's some chronic thing where there's a lot of degeneration or something, even if it still needs other help, it responds better to the other things that you're doing. Like, so you're doing healing, or you're putting an ointment on, or doing some stretching, or whatever it is. All of that seems to be more productive and easier, and so it's a thing that can stand on its own, and it's a thing that can augment other things that you're doing.
So would it be beneficial at the beginning if you wanted to use it in that way to actually like sort of set your mind on it and like set an intention for a particular area like the neck or the
You,
shoulder or the
yeah, you could, but it will also address things that you don't even think about. Like,
anyway,
it
yeah.
just kind of starts everything moving, and you can direct it somewhat, but even if you're not aware of something and there's an issue, it will still address that.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
think so much. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And also on that, the previous one, you had been like, you aware of your body and emotions. Someone said, what body? What
Yeah,
emotion?
no joke.
What mind?
Yeah. And the thing that's nice, like myrrh has a physicalizing effect on um spiritual energy, but it's also very purifying to the connective tissue. And like, it's a weird thing to say, but like the lower the vibration of something is that you're addressing, the stronger myrrh gets. Like it works better on like really low vibrational, like blockages in the body or resistances to um, the soul or spiritual growth or movement. Like the stronger the blockage or the lower nature the blockage, the more potent myrrh becomes. And so myrrh is good for that reason. Cedar is very connecting to the heart and the crown. Like it helps not just connect the heart and the crown, but it makes the heart and the crown begin to like mix. And that brings in a light unto itself. And so they're both good, but for different reasons. Yeah.
On the previous one again, someone said, wow, everything just went red.
Red. I mean, red is the further physicalation of spiritual energy. Well, I mean, that might mean that the body needed general stimulation in the body, because that's not always what happens. Or it needed strengthening, but red can also stimulate all the processes. And so that's good to do from time to time with the body, is just jumpstart it to a much higher degree. And that might be what was happening there.
And they said then it went to rose gold.
Rose. Oh, it's got a little bit of Dharma protector kind of energy in it. Rose gold. Hmm. Yeah. Like when you start tapping into the energy of like certain Dharma protectors, well, all of the Dharma protectors really, um, the energy is like kind of a reddish, pinkish, and then gold. Like it's like mixed together, and that's starting to sound like that. And so, yeah, the energy of Dharma protector is very good. That's very, very good.
A question on that last one. Is it best to focus on a single area or aspiration at a time? Should we repeat the second segment before each one?
The second segment, I actually had you reflect on those things just so you can measure. It it will address a lot of different things. Like the more that you kind of put your attention on something, it brings it more to the surface. But you could do a couple of things at once, or you could do one at a time. Even if you didn't do anything, it would still address some of those things. So if you want to address something, great. And if you don't, and you just want to, do the process and not really think about those things, still will address it. So,
My ears almost feel plugged after this segment just now.
Hmm.
Could it be the process or maybe just me?
I wouldn't think it's the process. I mean, it got stirred up on the process, obviously, but yeah, maybe give a big.
It just feels like it's plugged, like it pops, but still.
Hmm.
Question,
Mhm.
have we done this pattern before?
Yeah.
This most recent?
Yes. It was in a class a couple of classes ago, I think. Yeah. I think it's actually been in a couple of different classes.
There was a lot of energy movement, so
Mm.
it just sat still with it.
Yeah.
Felt
A
new.
lot of energy.
Would emerald frankincense be stronger than a lemmy? I guess better question, what is the effect would be? What effect would it have versus a lemmy?
Frankincense versus a lemmy.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, For this, I'd probably use the alemi. Um, I mean, frankincense will work, but we want to make sure that it hasn't been like adulterated or manipulated somewhat. And so most of the emerald frankincense is what I would call like that's on the market is what you would call like incense quality. It's been extended somewhat. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time like the one that I got a while back. I mean, uh, there's not very much of that floating around that hasn't been touched. You know, I wouldn't spend a lot of time inhaling it. If you got it from me, I would say it's okay. But if it wasn't sourced from me, like if you scan it, the energy isn't quite the same, and then there's a negative energy to it, it's the adulterated component. So, yeah. It's good for like diffusing, it's good for like incense, it's good for things like that. But like topical or inhaling a lot, uh, maybe not as much. Yeah.
Is Paracelsus a frankincense?
Paracelsus is wormwood. There's a wormwood, opopanax, and Buddha wood. So there's no frankincense in it. Yeah.
This might be more for when we get to it. They're asking about the tea tree biodynamic.
Mm-hmm.
How is it different, special?
So it's the same plant. It's tea tree, but it's grown in the parameters of God, what's that guy's name?
Oh, yeah, Rudolf Steiner.
Steiner. I always want to call him Steinbeck. It's grown in the parameters of Steiner, and so they plant it at a certain time, they harvest it at a certain time according to the moon. They like talk to the plants and play music. I think they do a bunch of funky things, but it makes the plants grow stronger and more potent. And so the biodynamic tea tree is it's we don't even put it on the site because I can't really get that much, but I thought, oh, we'll throw it in this kit. And it's significantly stronger than normal tea tree. Anything biodynamic. The problem is not very many things are made in a biodynamic way. So I have a few things that I get that are biodynamic, but I usually either use them in blends or there's something fancy or something of that nature. And so yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in the kit. It was fancy and nice and not something you can get on the website. So
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah, because they use the tea tree for the movement chaotic. So maybe we already did it with okay, sorry, that was my
yeah, but even if you smell it, it smells a little bit. I mean, it still smells like tea tree. Don't get me wrong, but it smells a little different than normal tea tree.
And if you had a question from before the break, if for some reason we didn't get to it, the way I left at lunch break, feel free to type those questions in and we'll still get those in. I lost everything whenever we broke for lunch. So you had a question and I missed it, just put that in anytime.
So it sounds like everybody's questions got. So we're going to still do this one process that we're doing. We're going to do another cycle before we take a break. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of breather because it can be a little intense. So you're in healing, your awareness is on the sex chakra. And then the navel. And then your awareness is on the front heart. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths on the front heart. And then the awareness is on the back heart. Your awareness is on the back heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your throat. Your awareness is on your throat. And then the crown. Just be still. Just be still. Let's do that one more time. Your awareness is on the sixth chakra. Your awareness is on the navel. The front heart. Awareness is on the front heart. Awareness is on the front heart. The back heart. Awareness is on the back heart. Does that not count? Your awareness is on the back heart. Throat. Your awareness is on your throat. Move your awareness to the crown. Just be still. Just pause and be still. Your awareness is on the crown. Take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just a little bit more on the crown. Just let go. Mm. Notice how you feel, your body, your emotions, your mind. So this will have a calming effect on instinctive responses, but it helps move instinct to cognitive processes to a much higher degree. And you could say that the sex chakra is the birthplace of true ideas. The more accurate the response and the gathering of energy and information that it shoots up high, the clearer our mind is. So our mind is really a byproduct of other things, but yeah, this definitely helps to disperse the ignorance of, or the darkness that we would call ignorance. It helps with inspiration, it helps with insight, it helps with like processing through something to get to the heart of the matter, whatever version of that. It's very, very helpful for that. The more you do it, the quicker it happens in motion. You don't necessarily have to do it right before you look at information. The more you do this one particular segment, the more that it will just keep kicking into place. So, yeah. So let's take a break and we'll come back at 20 till and we'll work on alignment. Hey, everybody, let's come on back. And we are at the middle of page 5 on segment 4, which is alignment. And here we're going to be utilizing the materialization breath. And again, you're materializing light. You're bringing light into wherever you're directing it. And if you don't direct it with the materialization breath, a lot of times the energy goes to just healing the body, right? Healing the body, maybe emotions, mind. Not so much the environment or, a process or a project. And so with going through and doing this, we're utilizing like mugwort or artemisia, basically things in the artemisia family. And the reason being that the plants that are all associated with artemisia are very good for chaos. They're very good for chaotic kind of situations. And you could say they help establish movement in the face of the chaos, regardless of what it is. Right. And so here we're going to use absinthium, artemisia, mugwort, sweet annie, wormwood, alignment, which is a blend from the body mapping class, and then mugwort supreme. So any of those choices. And I think we did sweet annie. Yeah, we did sweet annie. Okay, so we're going to do this process at first, and then we're going to direct it to different situations, right? Okay, so again, just to revisit this, you take the bottle, you hold it to your chest, and the only reason you're holding it to your chest is just because you're doing the breath. If you hold it out here, it's fine, right? So you're holding it to the chest, and then your head goes down, you inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale through your mouth. Down, inhale through your nose, up, exhale through your mouth. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Okay, now be still for a moment. Okay, so the thing with solstice is it's a time to bring light to areas in your life, especially areas where you're learning lessons or having difficulty. I mean, solstice is that's what it's about, right? So think of areas in your life where you could use a little movement. They're difficult, they're painful, you feel stuck in the situation, or you're in the process of learning a lesson in that particular area. Okay. Again, chin down to your chest, bottle up to your chest. Inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, up. Do 2 or 3 more on your own. Just be still. So let's do this systematically. Let's pick a relationship, even if it's going well, somewhere where you'd like it to be better. Even if it's the most loving relationship in your life, still could always grow. It could always get, bigger, stronger. If there's a conflict that you're having with somebody, focus on that. As you're focusing on that, your awareness is on your heart. Like observe the situation. Remember what we say about observing. It's an important piece because it starts to break up whatever you're looking at. It allows the movement to happen. And then bottle to your chest, let it all go, bottle to your chest, chin down, do 8 or 9 of the materialization breath. Observe that same situation, that same relationship, that same person. Let it go and let's physicalize light into that situation with that person. Bottle to your chest, chin down, 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths. Yeah. Think of a situation, something that's relatively active, something that's in motion already. Project that you have, some at work, goal. Could even be, healing. Observe it, reflect on it. And as you reflect on it, your awareness is on the heart. Let it go. Bottle to your chest, chin down, 8 or 9 of the materialization breath. Just be still. Again, reflect on that same situation, that active situation. Reflect on it, observe it. And then let it go. Bottle to your chest, chin down. And then just be still. Notice how you feel. Now, let's do a little healing on something in the past. So, some past event, a fight with somebody, a car accident, an injury, a blow up at work, some conflict that you have that's ongoing with a particular person. You have a person in your family who sucks your will to live, whatever it is. Like pull one of the things that is one of your struggles or difficulties and reflect on it, observe it with your awareness on the heart. Bottle to the chest, chin down, 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths. Same situation. You're observing. Bottle to your chest, chin down, 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Just be still. Just let it incubate. Notice your mind, your emotions. Notice what it seems when you look at these different situations that you've already worked. Now, one of the things I like to do when I'm doing this is healing for somebody else or something in the news. So if there's somebody that you know that needs healing, just think of them. You don't need to worry about like, is it their right shoulder? Is it their left shoulder? Just think of them, right? If it's something in the news, just think of the situation. Don't worry about trying to decipher, like, what should I pray for in the situation? You're just bringing light to the situation. The light has an intelligence. Let the light do what it's going to do. Just direct it to where you would like it to go. So, a person, a situation that's not something of you or something in the news. Okay, let it go. Bottle to the chest, 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Continue to observe that situation. Let the imagery go. Bottle to your chest. Do 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths. And then just be still. Okay, we're going to do one more. Think of it like this. You know, at the beginning of the year, you have a New Year's resolution like, I'm going to bring this into my life, or I'm going to let go of this pattern, or whatever. It's something that's associated also with solstice. Like you're bringing light into some area of darkness in your life. So it's something that you're wanting to bring in and have something new. Sometimes it could just simply be like a spiritual practice, but it's like, I want to be more health conscious. I want to be, I don't know, I want to be a cowboy. I want to be, whatever it is, the thing you're wanting to bring into your life. That's the thing to work right now. It could be a skill set, it could be kinds of interactions. It could be, think of it as like something off your wish list. What do you wish for yourself? Okay, let it go. Bottle to your chest, 10 down, 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths. You're still reflecting on that new thing you're wanting to bring into your life. Bottle to your chest, chin down. 8 or 9 of the materialization breath. Notice how you feel. Think about the things that you worked on. Check in with them. Now, a lot of times they'll feel less clear, as weird as that sounds, but it's because you've moved them from the intellect to intuition. And so it's more about the movement, or it's about cleaning up what that is so that it can happen. And remember, intuition is the component that is going to be able to move fast, make adjustments, innovate, shift, change, whatever it might be. So by shifting it from the intellect to the intuitive mind, greater potential you have for bringing it into form. So with that, let's open it up to shares and questions. I'm sure you guys have questions. So unmute yourself or type in and go ahead and fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Greg. So that was really interesting. In
Mhm.
in one of them, I started to get like really congested and phlegmy when I was tuning into a situation with a person. All of a sudden, it was like, yeah, congestion and maybe in the lymph, like the sinuses area. Any thoughts?
Yeah, does that situation present stress?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably because of that.
Okay.
Still, like I would say, if that was the case, I mean, I would probably work that situation more. Like,
Okay.
Just because doing this will flush the stress out, but also it will move your physiology and your psyche, more your physiology, from being in a stress state when you're having to deal with that person or that situation that person's in.
Okay.
Like it will change the dynamic, basically, is what I'm saying.
Got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Interesting though. I've only had that happen a few times, but it's
Yeah.
usually something where there is because like emotionally, mentally, you might not be aware of the stress. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but when the situation's chaotic, your body is just like, "Bleh, this is super stressful." Like it has like a weird reaction that doesn't necessarily match the emotions or the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. It all makes sense. I just thought it was really interesting because we did 5 different scenarios and it was just with one
Just
and
with the one. Yeah.
the one. So that's great. Perfect. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Afterwards, the problems or challenges or issues feel like it's unnecessary to give them energy. A sense of it's okay to move on and let go.
Yeah. Very good.
I kept getting more and more tired.
Yeah, you look sleepy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lucinda.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, s- so the protocol we did just before the break,
Mhm.
you were talking about how it brought you clarity. So, um, this came up last night. I was in the ER with my son, and like trying to check in and get clarity on what was going on, but it's just never easy when you're doing it with family. It wasn't a huge deal, but
Right.
would that doing that section of the protocol in help in those types of situations?
Yeah, I find that it does. It makes being insightful like easier to access. You know what I mean? Um, sometimes you're presented with a bunch of information, but really the information you need is buried below all that stuff. It helps you with this too, like getting to that point. Yeah, is your son okay, by the way?
I think so. Well, they thought it was an allergic reaction to something, but he still wasn't feel he woke up and it was happening again. So I don't know if we really have a handle on what was going on. Um, but digging your way through not just like the emotions he was having, but like his sister was there, and so it's trying to find the clear pathway when everybody else's energy
Oh,
is sort of
yeah,
on top of you.
I see.
Mhm.
Yeah. The more you do the three brains, the more that will get easier.
Oh, okay.
Like that dynamic that you're talking about right there, that I would say, like if you're just trying to process information, that thing we did before break, I'd say like, oh, that could be very helpful. But when you're looking at a situation that has a dynamic to it, so there's motion and movement and different people, and the more you do the three brain work, the more that will increase your potential to adjust and adapt, think on your feet in those situations where it's a lot of moving pieces. Yeah.
So maybe both of those protocols in that
Yeah,
situation.
but especially for like what you described last night, especially just doing, three brain will just over a period of time will heighten your ability in that area.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my go-tos. I love the three brains.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Three brain's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm in the process of doing a bunch of write-ups to present to you guys about like mechanically what's happening was when we've practiced the different pieces so that you can use it for problem solving. So hopefully I have that to you guys by the end of the year.
Wow.
It's like so far away, but it's only a couple weeks away. So
Yes,
yeah.
that would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And go ahead, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, so I feel like a little kid asking this question, but what I want to have come true for me this year, I really, really want. So should I do this thing for it more?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally. And so here, this is just about bringing in light, but like if you're really trying to materialize a goal, cinnamon could be helpful. Tuberose could be helpful. Hyssop could be helpful. And then like prosperity blend, materialization blend. And so like in materialization blend, one of the oils is galbanum. So even galbanum can be quite helpful. Um, uh, Firs, like different firs and spruces can too, but like I like firs for this just because firs are more about the heart. And really what you're trying to do with this process is you're physicalizing light, but you're really working the heart, especially the back heart. And so fir can have a bit more of an activating effect on the heart, where spruces are a little bit more crown oriented. And so, uh, yeah, even cedars could kind of do it. So, play with these, but you could also play with some of those other ones as well.
And so if you're working a particular thing, is it better to like use different oils at different times for the same thing?
You
Or do you
could.
stick with one?
So the idea of like using cinnamon, which is different than using, like, here you're trying to bring in something new, or you're just trying to be a vessel of light. The thing with cinnamon is cinnamon's actually very activating to the heart. And so it can help with integration and then the back heart where it starts to kind of transmute things a bit. But the thing with the cinnamon that's interesting with stuff like that is, if you look at somebody's physiology and you go, okay, just sit there and let's look at you. All the processes have like a certain activity level, right? Then you go, okay, now we're going to go and we're going to do this project that you've been trying to do for a while. And the physiology will kind of change, and a lot of times it's due to like stresses and things, but some of the physiology will get agitated and some of it will shut down a little bit.
Mm.
And the thing with cinnamon in this particular area is cinnamon makes like all your body systems jumpstart. Like it just like all your processes, everything. So you could say it's almost very good for undoing the effects of like stress, especially long-term stress. It just makes everything start working right. And so that tendency to go like, I don't know about this obstacle, or I don't know about, whatever. Your system is just getting jump started, both physiological and energetic. And so it's stimulating to all those things. So it makes the basic work better, it makes the heart work better, but when the obstacle comes up, it makes your physiology more likely to go, let's push through and do this.
Mm.
And so variations of anything with cinnamon. Cinnamon, and there's that blend Abramelin, which is myrrh and calamus, but it has cinnamon and it has cassia, which is, basically a different kind of cinnamon. And so, that blend has been used for a few centuries, quite a few centuries, for like consecrating divine energy, like in a tabernacle or in a spiritual place. Like they say King David used to burn that around the clock. And it's just like the calamus and the myrrh are present, but it's a lot of cinnamon and cassia. And the idea again was to activate the heart and put things in motion, but it is about stimulating the body's processes so that you can take like good action, if that makes sense.
Oh, not only does it make sense, it's like right on for me, because a lot of what I'm noticing today is it's about there's a deep-seated desire to move through the things that I know are my obstacles, right? There's things that I know that like I put up these obstacles to myself that I know I have to be able to have the potency to push through.
Right. And sometimes it's like it comes up and the body just goes like,
Yeah.
and then, you're just like, maybe I'll do it later, or I can do it or something. And more times than not, it's more physiology than it is psychology. But emotionally, mentally, you might have worked through, like, say it's because you had a past difficulty or a past trauma. Emotionally, mentally, you might be able to work through it, but the body is like, again, like I don't want to do this again. Like, so it just kind of goes into like this little weird shutdown mode.
Right.
And your emotion and mind is there, but your body is just like, I'm not having it, and so the cinnamon helps to stimulate the body to go like, okay, look, we're doing this, we're going to move this. And so it's a way to break down procrastination, overcome obstacles, just have a bit more dynamic activity. And even though you're stimulating these things, it still can go hand in hand with having it be aligned with intuition so that you're taking the action and being innovative while you do it, instead of just doing busy work.
Mhm. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Am I so tired and sleeping so many hours a night because I'm processing 50 years of repressed pain and emotions?
Uh, I'm not sure. I mean, it could be. That could be that the body has let go of a bunch of stress. Could be that fight flight mechanisms have been calmed down, and when that happens, the body tends to be a little bit more tired and need a little bit more sleep. Um, some of the cold and flus that are going around right now, I'd say the big dominating symptom is fatigue, like more than anything. Even after all the other symptoms go away, fatigue. So going back to the cinnamon, things that jumpstart the body, help the body to be more functional, like thyme or cinnamon, can be helpful in a situation like this. Yeah.
Is Sweet Annie in the mugwort family?
Yes.
What would Greg, would Greg give the information about why mugwort family oils are good for materialization?
They're good for bringing something in new. Like it's not always just about materialization, but here we're using it for materialization breath, but anything in the mugwort family helps with change. It's there. Like if you look at the plants, like I have a good friend who's a medical aromatherapist, like long time, and he always cracks up. He goes, "Boy, you sure like your artemisias, which are like everything in the mugwort family." It's like, yeah. And he goes, those plants are crazy, right? And he's joking, but it's the nature of artemisias to help with something new coming in or change. And that's why he says they're crazy. And they just help facilitate, like, your body, the homeostasis mechanism is always maintaining balance. So when you try to bring something new in, that sense of balance goes, no, I don't think so. Where when you use artemisia, it allows it to kind of come in and be integrated to where it gets integrated into the body, and then it becomes a thing that needs to be balanced as well, right? So it allows for new things to come in, and the reason why we're just using it here is we're just allowing for light, because this today was all about connecting with like divine light. That combination of red and green produces light, and that is a creative force. And so we're just doing, like, getting the creative juices flowing, getting the light flowing, and then directing it to certain areas in our life, because it is the fuel that stimulates evolution in whatever area of our life. So um, it was more about just letting in the light rather than materializing something. Like Linda was asking about materialization of something. I was like, you could use cinnamon, you could use all these other choices because you're trying to do something a little bit different. And so we're going to go into that a little bit more at that class at the end of the year, what's it called? Revitalize and Thrive. We're going to talk about different kinds of oils to use with the materialization process to produce different kinds of results. So I'll give you guys like a little like cheat sheet of like the things that you can use to do different kinds of things for that. That's something I don't think we've really gone in depth before. So,
And go ahead, Tracy.
hey, Miss Tracy.
Hello. So, we talked about the materialization breath and made, like, I'm doing it usually temples to temples, and I'm sorry if I keep harping on this, but I did the from a foot underneath up and out the top of my head, but as I was thinking about it, I'm like, how is that bringing in light? Because it
Going
seems like,
from your feet to your head
uh-huh.
to bring in divine light, you have to bring up a certain amount of light from the earth. And then there's a corresponding downpouring. So when you're moving the energy up like that, you're bringing up the earth light.
Okay. So it's like a displacement. You're displacing.
Displacement. It's, well, think of it like this: like attracts like. So when you bring up earth light, it attracts a different kind of light, which is divine light.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I think of the earth as being like in yin and yang, the dark and the matter, and the light being the yin. Am I thinking about this too much?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're overthinking it a little bit, but I understand where you're going with it. In a sense, that's the truth, but even then within the earth, there's a yin and a yang within the earth. And so um even within the body with ours, for divine light to come down or to increase, you have to offer up that base material that we've been working all day. You have to offer it up for there to be a downpour. And so you're doing the same thing with the earth, like you're scooping up energy from the earth, you're offering it up, and then because divine light is divine intelligence or creative energy. So then there's a downpouring of that. And it's like they need each other. They're not separate.
It needs material in order to.
Anything creative needs both sides. Like it needs form and it needs essence.
Thank
Even
you.
if it's old form, like it's never just going to produce essence. Like you're always going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
If I want to do 3 brains in public, but the smell of oils will be a problem, will holding oil on chest or in hand be?
Just do it without the oil. Yeah. Yeah. Just do it without the oil.
My energy was throbbing at all points in the pattern long after we moved on or during breaks.
Which pattern are we talking about?
Let's see if she says. Which pattern?
Yeah, which pattern and how do you feel right now?
Well, they respond to that. There was a second part.
Mhm.
When we do healing meditations, can our body take on their symptoms or show a release of a fundamental symptom to the person's poor health? I had an unexpected short-term, very runny nose. Also had to run to the toilet when I'd already done my business today. The person I meditated healing for had bronchitis, pneumonia symptoms, and ongoing constipation. Should I be protecting myself from this phenomenon?
What process did they do?
For that second part question, if you could clarify if that was for this materialization or if this was. an earlier
Tell me what you
process.
did. Yeah.
I think this is them responding to the first question. They said, I feel great, but still have increased energy. It was not necessarily specific to a pattern, but something.
I'm not quite sure what. If you feel okay now, I guess that's okay, but
And then for the second part, was it for the materialization breath that
yeah,
you were working?
what process did you use?
It was not a specific pattern. I think it was the materialization breath.
Well, if you did the materialization breath, there should be no issue. If you did something else, it depends on what you did. And so, but the materialization breath, you should be fine. There should be no, it could have been just a coincidence of, you know, but. Mm.
And I saw he froze just a little bit, so just make sure, will you just put yes, you heard him? I just saw the camera freeze just for a sec. I just want to make sure you got it. They're asking, so can we take on the symptoms of people we do healings for?
With the things that I teach you, no, not really. But there's things out there where people do things and that potentially can happen. Yeah. That's why I was asking you, what did you do? Yeah. I mean, there's practices where there's shamanic practices where that is the practice. You take it on and then the healer sheds it. But there's modalities out there where, you know, they take some things on without really knowing. But if it's something that I'm teaching, you're solid. You're good to go.
Okay, they said I just did the patterns you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back straight up on the hour and we'll do that last little practice and still do a little Q&A if you guys want, and
What time are we back? Sorry,
straight up at 5.
straight on the hours. Okay.
Hey everybody. So here on number 5 at the bottom of page 5, talking about spiritual rebirth and inner transformation. So this pattern we're about to do, this pattern is about patterns or breaking patterns. You know, we have that idea of something that's repetitive, right? And here in the last segment, we went through and we used artemisias, or, you know, blends that do something similar to bring in light, to bring in something new, to like bring something into a pattern. Because like patterns are very, they do things that support themselves, and you could say they defend themselves really well. So when you try to bring in something new, they're like, I don't know about that. You know, you go, no, it's light, it's good. And they're like, nah, I don't know. No, I don't know. You know, like, have you ever met somebody that, like, as soon as you say anything, they just go, no, no, like a boss or something, or somebody in your family, you're like, you come, hey, I've got a real good idea. And they're just like, no. You know, they don't want to hear it. They want something new. That's the way patterns are. Patterns are not like, hey, let's all collaborate and get together. They do what they do. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's no good, right? And so this idea of spiritual rebirth is in breaking a pattern. It's not like going to be broken and be done. It breaks down and then it kind of comes back, but it's a little bit altered because of the essence that came in, right? So you have to keep breaking it down and then breaking it down, breaking it down and breaking it down. And eventually it turns into something else. But it's always going to start repeating, you know, it's part of being in a body. Like we have these things that are just repetitive no matter what. And, you know, sometimes we can hit a little bit of a void or a space or window opens up where you can get a little something new in, and then it gets integrated, and then that repetitive pattern is still repetitive, but now it's a little bit different. And so part of breaking out of a pattern is kind of working the pattern to become something different. You're not going to stop a pattern and just like, ugh, It's done. It's not going to do it anymore. It's been modified. It's been altered. It's not. It's the movement or the repetition isn't stopping, but what it does can shift or change, if that makes sense. And so part of how you do this is with this particular pattern. And here we're going to use sage, cistus, or Buddha wood. Sage is what traditionally kind of gets used for this. Yeah. In the kit, what did I give him? I think I gave him Sage Supreme.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, in the kit I gave you Sage Supreme, I believe. So you can think of something here, or you can just do the practice. But I like to think of something here. Like, so even if it's something where it's going well, you still want it to be able to upgrade. You still want it to evolve. It's not going to make, things go crazy. It just breaks things down little by little. And so I would say pick a situation, a person, a place, a past event, something that's going on now. Pick something out and just reflect on it. Okay, let it go and begin inhaling with whichever oil you chose. And your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone, the basic chakra. And then your awareness is on the back spleen. So your left hand side here, but on the back. Like if you push through from that spot to that same area, but on the back side. If it's too hard, just do the front spleen, but back spleen's a little more potent. And then the Ming Men, which is your low back area, the back side of your navel. Which one are you using? Yeah. And then the crown. Your awareness is on the crown. If I move the ball right here, would you be able to see it in the camera? So it would be okay. Your awareness is on the crown. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the throat. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the throat. And then just be still, be aware, let go. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone. The spleen area. So on the back side, if you can go over there, if not the front. So left hand side below the ribs. Do front or back. The low back area opposite the navel. And the crown, the top of your head. Your awareness is on your throat. Well, that trained you. Yeah. Then let go. So again, think of this as about like breaking whatever pattern. You're basically refining it, not really breaking it. Think of some situation, some person, some event, some pattern in your life that you're like, ugh. Observe it for just a moment. Let it go. Just let it go. Now, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone. Your back spleen area. Left hand side. And your low back area, backside of your navel. The crown. And then the throat. Your awareness is on the throat. Your awareness is on the throat. And then just be still. Just think of an area where you have the most difficulty right now, whatever that is. I think Samantha's is trying to stay awake. Contemplate it for a moment. We're just going to do one last cycle of this. Again, let it all go. Your awareness is on your basic, bottom of the tailbone. Move your awareness to the back spleen, left hand side of the body. The Ming Men, the backside of the navel. The crown. Awareness is on the crown. And the throat. Your awareness is on the throat. And then just be still. Just be still. Notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. We've officially lost Samantha. So this last piece, like I said, is about breaking a pattern. Anytime you're breaking a pattern, you're allowing light into something that's repetitive in nature. That's, even though something's repetitive, it still can be very chaotic. It doesn't necessarily mean repetition is order. It's just anyway. Let's unmute, share experiences, ask questions, and you can ask questions from the whole day.
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey there. I love me some sisters, so I couldn't decide between that and sage, and I decided I would start with, well, I'd switch off. And
Right.
they were so different. The
Yeah.
sage felt like it was going in like a leaf blower, and the cistus was like a feather duster.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
so the properties of the oils that lead to that effect, and is that a reasonable approach?
yeah. Like it's good to rotate the different choices. I'd say, we're not necessarily working the heart here, but the thing with cystis is I wouldn't say cystis is activating to the back heart. I would say cystis is like helping to develop the back heart is probably a better way to say it. And part of what the back heart does is it transmutes the chaotic energies, but it also like releases things from, or I shouldn't say release, it like kind of harmonizes things that are in the unconscious. And sometimes those will come up to be purified by the back heart, by cleaned up and released, integrated into the mind. And so cystis is very good for that, like you said. I love me some cystis, but That's one of the ones, like, you know, I always used to joke, my favorite oil is the one in my hand. There's a few oils that even when they're not in my hand, they're still my favorite. And cistus is one of them. You know, I like me some sage too, aloes, vetiver. You know, the list can be very long, but sage kind of helps with the transition, like out of the pattern, out of the structure, and very good for keeping everything calm, keeping everything fortified, and then helping to like uplift you once it's happened. It's very good for like calming down the agitation that could possibly come from it. Yeah. So either one's a good choice. It's just, you know, sometimes you want coffee in the morning, sometimes you want a cup of tea. You know, it's still good you're having a nice beverage in the morning, but they are different.
The sage did feel very fortifying. It was
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
strong,
very
but
fortifying.
in a very holding you steady kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Like sage is super. I mean, there's a reason why they use sage in so many different ceremonies. Is it does just that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Ralph, then Denise.
Hey, Ralph.
Hey, Greg. So I got a question coming off of Linda's comments on part number 4 and number 5 here.
Mhm.
I have an old pattern that I'd really like to break out of.
Okay.
And in doing the Lama Yoga materialization breath, I don't know how to picture it yet. So what I've
Just
come up
picture the
with.
pattern. Yeah.
So
Just
what I've
like
come up with so far is, like my end target would be to have comfort with the situation, no matter what the physical is. I want to be in a place of emotional comfort around it.
Okay.
Okay. So all I can see is myself surrounded by a ball of light. That's
Yeah,
as close as I
and
could get,
that
because I need a Texas-sized 3 brains solution here.
like you can see yourself surrounded by light, but in a situation where you have a situation that you're very aware of, just think of the situation. You don't have to visualize a good or an end result, anything like that. Just put your attention on the situation, do the materialization breath.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
And then how about the alignment or the spiritual rebirth processes like 4 and 5?
Okay, so the alignment is like what we were just talking about, doing
Right.
the
That's the
materialization
Lama
breath.
Yoga materialization.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're trying to break out of a pattern or you're trying to break the pattern,
Mhm.
do 5 and then go back to 4 and then do 5, like kind of loop them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's like, you know, because you would think maybe at first, like if I go to 5 and then I could go to 4. I've tried that, but it's like you know, it's think of it like this is the way that I think about it. Like I'm laughing because it's a horrible example, but say you have a counter that you haven't cleaned for a while in the kitchen, and
Mhm.
you know
I've
maybe you
had
spilled
those.
a little something, and you're like, yeah, I'll get it later, and now it's all dried and you try to wipe that off, it doesn't come up very good. You got to get it wet, let it soak for a moment, and then, you know, the water acts as a solvent, and you're able to clean up the counter, right?
How about the one you got to get a paint scraper out for?
Yeah. So the idea with the materialization is the light goes in and really starts moving things, so that when you go through and you do number 5,
Mhm.
it picks up more and like breaks it down. So
Okay.
4 actually makes 5 stronger, and then after you've done that, 5 then makes 4 stronger, and like you can do a little loop,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Denise.
Hey,
Hi,
Denise.
Greg.
Hey, hey.
Uh, so let me get this straight. If I want to break a pattern, start with 4, then go to
Yeah.
5, and then go rotate back and forth, but
And then
start with
rotate
4.
it back and forth. So, and like what I was saying to Ralph, like you don't have to visualize the end result. Like if you know, like, this situation XYZ, instead of going XYZ but nicer and fancier, you just go XYZ, and like you don't really have to worry about, is it like, am I visualizing good or are my intentions good? The light will start to have a like a back and forth with that situation, and it will bring things to a more refined spot just by the nature of bringing light to it. So after a while, you'll start to see it more positive, but you don't have to actively go, oh, I have to visualize the end result. Just put your attention on whatever needs to be addressed or healed, and then start working the materialization breath. And then go to number 5 if you want to break a pattern. If you're just trying to materialize something, you can just do number 4. But if you're trying to unwind something that's been there a while, some sort of pattern, do 4, then 5. Yeah.
That's very clear. It makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
One more question. When I'm because I didn't want to just assume. So when on the protocols, on the patterns, when they say throat, you're talking about the front throat.
Front throat. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and not throat minor, or it would
Right.
say.
Just a regular throat. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
very good. Thank you. It is,
So,
really a surprising awaken, really surprising, fairly dynamic, really.
oh, good.
Thank you. Yes, I think it'll take
And
me.
we're going to do more of this on the, what is it, the 29th or the 30th? What is that day?
The 30th.
So on December 30th, we're going to do more materialization stuff. And, I'm even going to give you like groupings of, if you're trying to do this, this is good. If you're trying to do healing, this is good. Like break down groups of oils for you guys to practice with. And we'll be doing other things besides the materialization breath, but just to give you like bread and butter mechanics of like how to utilize some of these really potent things, but in like different ways. Where before we've always just had it like in a class or we've made suggestions. This is just going to be like a little manual of things you can do.
Oh, that's going to be excellent.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Great for support for us. And then if I wanted to use the cinnamon leaf I have, can I just take like 2 drops in the
Yeah.
morning?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you
Yeah,
so
2 or
much.
3 drops. Especially cold and flu season, it's good for that. It's good to stimulate the body during just when it's cold. But like I always find that like when I'm starting to feel like a little tired or a little fatigued or a little run down, I'll do a little bit of cinnamon for a couple of days and then I'll follow it with thyme for a few days. And after about 3 or 4 days of treating it, like I feel better.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
One more. I just kind of don't, because I've been really cold thyroid wise. And you
Uh-huh.
told me something to use with my thyroid. I can't remember if it's clove. Is it
Clove.
clove?
Yeah. Clove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Thanks to Sam. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, I guess, at the end of the month, and happy holidays.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, good holiday to you. Can't believe it's Christmas time already. It's crazy. Yeah.
And then go ahead, Helen.
Hey, Ellen.
Hey, Greg. When you taught this class, it wasn't this class, but it was when you were teaching about the alchemical significance of the green lion,
Mhm.
and you were in Albuquerque, and that was for the body mapping class. You gave us a meditation. It wasn't part of the class, but it was on that Friday night. That was allostasis and harmonizing allostasis and homeostasis. And you used 2 blends. One was allostasis and the other was balance. And I'm wondering
Right.
if you have the actual protocol for that, because I don't remember how that went.
I think it was also in a class like right after, like, let me think about that for a second.
Mhm.
Let's look it up now, because if I walk away from my iPad, I'll forget. I think it's in
I think it was too. I'm
the
gonna look it up.
glands. What is that called? Like
Revitalize.
the energetic mechanics of the glands, or Energetics of
Yep.
plants. Okay. Think I might have it for you right here.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm not seeing it here. It was in something. Secrets of
Okay, so I'll tell you maybe the essentials of intuition.
Oh, that's probably what it is. That makes sense because it's the thing with
And both allostasis and balance are recommended oils for that particular class.
I'll find it and we'll email it to you. Like I know it's there, and if not, I'll just write it out.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, it was relevant to that conversation about the Green Lion. So I
Yeah, it was
looking for it yesterday, I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in and around that time. So it can only be in some.
That's a good thought. It might have been something you put in the newsletter. I'll look at that
Oh,
too.
could be.
But
Okay. What was the angel class that we did at the end of that month? Is the essentials for
Oh,
You did two. You did the free one and then you did the paid one.
angel essentials or something?
Yeah, that was the free one.
And
yeah, the angelic class was angelic healing,
angelic
healing and
healing.
harmonizing the
There
body.
you go. That's
Okay.
yeah, I think it's in that. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only takes me about 15 minutes to pull that off.
I'm
Think I
sorry
would
I put
know.
you on the
No,
spot.
no, it cracks me up because it's like you think I'd know this stuff like the back of my hand, but like I'm like, I'm not sure. I have to.
No.
Yeah, so here I'm gonna send it to Sam, and then this is the one out of the class. I can't remember what we used in the middle, but here it's spine.
Okay.
But you could insert any archangel or deity where spine is at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she'll have it here in just a sec.
And somebody said it might be good to put it in the newsletter too.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, that would be nice. Because it seemed like a really
It's a very nice
cool.
one. Like I haven't done it for a little while, but that used to be, man, I was doing it every day. Like
Right.
just, because the thing, it's like it also opens up the potential for something new to come in, and then to like restore homeostasis. Like it's like expand, condense, expand. Like it takes the grounding stronger and it makes the expansion stronger.
Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate that. Do you have time for one more arcane
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Okay. I can't remember if this was something that you talked about at one point, but there is an esoteric significance to the red and white in a spiral, like on a barber pole.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that is? And I'm
Well,
wondering if that has any relevance to like
Yeah,
certain
so like
trees that
sometimes you see like a picture of Christ, like where there's white or red coming out this side and white coming out the left side. And then there is a very like old alchemical picture, and it's a man stepping, like he's stepping up out of the mud, and his whole like kind of chest and head's red, but his arm is red and then the other arm is white. And what that means is the red and the white in this particular case is the red is intellect and the white is intuition.
Mhm.
And so, we're always trying to move intellect to intuition, but intellect is usually significantly more dominant than intuition. But in that particular setting, the red symbolizing the intellect also is the intellect that is able to observe, right? Like, so the intellect, not just going like, okay, I've had all these past experiences, but being able to have an intellect or a logical mind that can go and like, I'm going to observe, like I'm whatever is going on, like you're practicing that kind of like sustained awareness or observation, and that actually begins to produce the intuition. And so the red and white is just the balancing between intellect and intuition, because it's not really that we're wanting to be completely one or the other. We're wanting to really have this like more harmonized point of view. And in some cultures, they're a little bit more intuitive, but I'd say these days, like that's probably more apparent in ancient times or, long ago. Now it's the tendency is to be more of the intellect. And so we're trying to cultivate some of the intuition. And so like you could say almost like the intellect is very good at identifying what problems are or identifying like the chaos or the base material, but it's the intuition that really kind of resolves it, right? But the intellect is good at going, that needs fixing, but not the greatest at fixing things. Like, but can really point it out, and then once the shift has happened, can integrate it. And so the idea of the left and the left arm and the right arm being red and white, or that energy of Christ coming out, it is that play between the two. It's not just excessively intuition or excessively intellect, but it's being able to like harmonize these two. And I always liked, I don't know that we really see them these days, but when I was young, the barber pole would spin, so the red and white
Right.
almost become this like thing. And yeah, the
Okay.
and if the one like when I was a little kid, it spun, and then at the top of it was a blue ball,
Right.
you know. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
very interesting. Like
No,
all for a barber shop, like,
I
very esoteric.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so as I was thinking about the theme for this class, I started thinking about the red and the white candy canes. And I
Hmm.
thought, okay, well, maybe that has something. And so would
Yeah, I
mint,
hadn't thought about that, but you're right. That's probably a play on that.
yeah. But what about mint? Does that have a significance for any of these things that we're talking about?
Um, or these kinds of things. I'd have to think about that. Like that doesn't jump out at me. A lot of the stuff for now is the trees, like the fir and the spruces, and even sometimes they'll include cedars, but it's usually firs and spruces. Um and then there's a few herbs that are associated with the time, but peppermint. I'd have to go and look at my notes, Like
Yeah.
that it's always possible, you know, because that is an alchemy thing, is like one of the first things that you do, um, like just practicing some of the techniques in alchemy, is you hold a sprig of peppermint and you try to, you know how we breathe in the essence and then we breathe out through the plant or through the bottle. Like
Mhm.
that's one of the very first things that you would do, is you hold a sprig of peppermint and you breathe in the essence of peppermint into the spine, and then you breathe out through the plant. And it's a way to connect to that plant. It's not necessarily associated with this time of year, but it is used in alchemical practices. And so I'd have to go back and look at my alchemy notes. Right off the top of my head, nothing's jumping out, but I very easily could have overlooked that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it
It's-
makes sense with cinnamon and peppermint at this time of year because they're both body stimulants and your body needs it for the cold. You know, like
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
But you know, in a candy cane, you know, that's symbolizing something. I mean, peppermint is a mental stimulant, but still I'm not sure what it would mean there. But there probably is some meaning there. You know, because you don't see a bunch of different flavored candy canes. It's always peppermint. You know,
Right.
not like you see, like, you know,
Well, now you do.
oh, do you?
Oh yeah. Like now they have every flavor,
Oh.
but like forever.
In the old days they
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
It's just kind of fun to play with. That's all.
Yeah, oh, yeah, totally. You know, there's all kinds of like weird little symbolisms and all the stuff that we do. We just never really pay attention to it. Uh, so, like, you know, hadn't thought about the candy cane before, but you got the red and white, you know, it's you're already getting there somewhere. And it's,
Hmm.
I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it makes you wonder why a cane.
Right.
Because it hooks on the Christmas tree.
There's that, but you know, the thing with the cane, like in a, you know, I could be reaching here, like I'd really have to look at notes and stuff, but a lot of times disciples of a teacher were referred to as what do they call the guys that like herd the sheep?
Shepherds.
Shepherds, yeah.
Yeah.
They were referred to as shepherd, and that was the traditional
Mhm.
thing, is they would have that long staff that had the hook at the end. And you know, so a disciple would be considered a shepherd of men.
Mhm.
And so, you know, for somebody to be a disciple usually meant a good combination of both intellect and intuition. You know, not being excessively one or the other, because too much intuition, not very practical. Too much intellect and, you know, the potential for repetition sets in and can take the teachings forward into the world. And so kind of shaped a little bit like that, but you know,
Yeah.
was, I mean, why a cane? Why not just a peppermint stick?
Right.
You know,
That makes sense. I thought
yeah,
of that too, the shepherd's crook.
yeah,
So, well, anyway, something to
yeah. I'll have to play with that and see. You know,
There is a whole legend of the candy cane, but it's like reminds me of like levels of truth, you know,
Uh-huh.
because the candy cane one, they're like, oh, this is the shepherd's
oh, they
thing.
do say that.
Yeah, and then the other side, they're saying it's a J like Jesus because he came at Christmas. So there's a whole story about
But the
candy
issue with that is he didn't come to America. He came to places where it's not English speaking.
And they say the stripes are like the red, like the blood that was shed, the white for the Savior because he's sinless and pure. So there's already a little story people tell, but I don't know how old the candy cane is or where it came
It's
from.
at least 20 years old. I'd say at least 20.
Anyway, yeah, I knew it had something to do with alchemy and I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm sure that it does. Yeah. I'm sure that it does. I mean, especially since they're already saying the shepherd.
Mhm. And then
Interesting. And there's more white than red. That's interesting too.
is,
No?
I mean, I guess it depends on the candy cane.
Yeah. Now we're gonna have to examine each brand. Yeah.
Really evaluate this.
Yeah. Anyway.
Someone asked a question as well. I know you said that the goal we were working on could feel less concrete. Is it also normal to feel a sadness around it, like it's a pipe dream?
There can be a little bit of grieving when there's a change of perception. So the perception of what the goal is, or that it's going to manifest or not, or how it will manifest. A lot of times what we have as a goal, like if you think about it, you start off as like, this would be amazing, I'm going to do this. And usually what happens is what we started out with is in there somewhere, but it's not exactly how we started out. And so there could be a little bit of sadness because of that. Yeah.
Mhm. Can we just do the pattern without thinking about a situation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a Wednesday study group this week?
Yes.
For which class?
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
You're
Might have
asking
to-
me, we have to do the twofer.
I was gonna say the same thing. We might have to do a little two for action.
And then right after, just so you guys know, we're doing the Astara solstice, so. has
No,
to be
that's Thursday.
Thursday. Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
we're good. Wednesday is the 20th. Let's see. Someone said I vote Uncle Bob whenever we were talking.
Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna have to talk about Bob. Yeah.
Then I miss angel classes. Any chance there's a class coming?
Yeah, we were trying to decide a couple of classes in January. We could easily make one of those an angel thing.
Also a class working with divine feminine, like an archetype, Mother Mary, the
Okay.
feminine,
Yeah.
Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin.
Yeah, I have that thing with the Tara class. Yeah, 21 aspects of Tara.
Yeah.
We might not be able to do all 21 aspects. I was looking at my notes for that. We could almost do a class per Tara. I could condense it down to like a little quick thing, but yeah.
Do it, do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Tara, different
I got two saying yay Tara.
Tara. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes like, I have a practice where I do with Tara. And so like sometimes I'm like, am I just projecting this onto you guys? Is this something you guys want to do? I would love to do it, but like, I'm always kind of working this stuff with Tara.
And go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
You were commenting about the barber. In the old days, often places didn't have doctors, and the barbers did a lot more. They would do homeopathy. They would do infections and carbuncles and stuff like.
Oh, they would do like kind of like light medical work.
Yeah, and you know
Oh.
they knew how to cut. I mean, sometimes they had to
Right.
pull out bullets out of people. But anyway, there was not often doctors around, and he did a lot more than what we do today, although barbers today are still taught to deal with carbuncles and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, so that barber pole, yeah, had meanings relating to that.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then someone said, wonderful class, much more than what I was expecting.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And then we also have I think we should do a spiritual development, which I think that,
Yeah, we are doing that. I think we started that conversation. Laura was the one that kind of brought it up and, started talking it out. And it was like, man, we should just do a series like we've done with the lymphatic class, but for like just basic practices that could be an everyday thing that's not necessarily doing a class or doing something, just have like meat and potato kind of things to do for spiritual development and inner healing. So we are starting that.
we should have a study group just throwing out brainstorming ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no joke. Yeah. Okay, you guys. Well, we have our Tuesday night and Wednesday the dual study group. The Uncle Bob dressed in red and green. And if we don't see you for some reason this week, Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll see you again after the holiday. So thanks for having a nice day with us, and we'll see you again here sometime very soon.
Happy holidays.
Take care.